I was very heavily involved in the Slinger music program when I attended Slinger High School. I was very involved in the band and the jazz bands as well.
I was in the wind ensemble band, the marching band, as well as the jazz band.
I did high school musical, and then before that, like in elementary and middle school, did a lot of solos in choir and stuff like that.
So I joined choir freshman year, and I did it all 4 years through high school, and I had Mrs. Peters for all 4 years.
In high school, I was heavily involved in musicals, choir, vocal jazz, and I got to play my violin for a variety of different functions over the years.
And I participated in the Slinger High School band and also was in the pit band for the musicals 3 out of the 4 years that I went to Slinger.
When I was in high school, I was involved in choir and the musical and the music program.
I was deeply involved in all of the music programs I could have been within the choir at Slinger High.
In 2007, Slinger is the school where I got my start as a teacher, and I spent my first 3 years as a teacher there. I really think it was a special place, and a big part of that is because of the relationships that I built and that my students built when we were doing the musicals together.
Growing up in a small town, and at an early age, I realized that I loved music and wanted to pursue it, but there wasn't much guidance in the area at that time as to how to pursue it professionally or, seriously. So I credit Mrs. Adelmeyer, who was the high school choir director at the time I was in high school. She was incredibly supportive, and she helped me realize kind of where I wanted to go and the direction I wanted to take, and made it possible to start that route.
The program really helped me to find my voice because it gave me numerous opportunities to be a leader. Leadership was a big thing that I really strived for in the music programs, whether it was being first chair in wind ensemble or it was just being low brass section leader. It really allowed me to really become a leader. The program also helped me to find my voice by giving me numerous opportunities to branch out of my comfort zone and try different things that I didn't think I was capable of. Over the years, I learned different instruments that I had to play in different bands, and I also got much better at the ones that I originally learned how to play in middle school.
My identity going into high school and at the beginning of high school was a soccer player. That's all I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to be. I was on a nationally recognized team. However, I had to undergo 3 different knee surgeries while in high school, and so soccer started to not be an option for me anymore. That's really when band came into my life as a huge aspect. It allowed me to still participate, and it allowed me to use my motivation and my perseverance in a different way.
Hey guys, so our first question that we had for you today was, how did you guys find your musical voice?
You're in here laying with the light on, trying to take tonight off. But Thursdays feeling more and more like Monday. Damn, it's been a long day. No, you're not quite gone, but you're still standing on the runway. Let me see that smile.
So I would say, obviously when I went to Slinger, I played in band, and I actually had a group of friends that we would make rap music. We actually made the school homecoming song and stuff back in the day. And I would say that's when I first started singing. I didn't even really try singing until end of high school.
Maybe you could loan a little love right back if you're ever feeling lonesome. Just know that I could loan some.
To me, community is just a group of people that supports you, and I would like to say loves you, and appreciates the different individual characteristics. When I think about music, really community is music, because it takes more than one person to make a choir, to make a band.
I loved my band family. We were all there to challenge ourselves and to challenge each other to be just better people overall.
I think that without band, I would be a completely different person. Band really let me get to know people that are outside of exactly who I was or who my friends were.
Being involved in the music program helped me personally to build community because it gave me a friend group that I would have for years on end.
My truest friends were the people in the choir room. I spent all my study halls in the choir room. It was the sense of community and the importance and sanctity of that room was very necessary for me in my high school career.
No matter what the time of day was or whatever, that I could always go to the choir room and I would always feel better.
The choir room and nightly rehearsals were spaces where people could just really negotiate who they were. It was inclusive and supportive, and I guess that the community really went beyond music.
Just as a community for like band and choir and musical, everyone just accepts that and everybody else's like uniqueness and even like imperfections, and puts it all together to for their goal of creating this beautiful sound, putting on an amazing show, and entertaining the audience. So that's like that's their goal.
Factor in that you are building and creating art not only for yourselves to enjoy, you're bringing joy to the audience and to others that are choosing to come see and hear and experience. And so that in and of itself built an incredible community and a bond between the friends and peers that I shared that with for the rest of our lives.
When I was directing the musicals there, we had to do them at we had to start rehearsals at 6:30 at night. And they would go from 6 to 9:30, and you can't help but develop a kind of family dynamic when that happens. When you know that you're putting in the extra effort to make something really great.
I would spend my mornings and afternoons in the various bands, and then come back in the evenings to play concerts or for athletic events.
That it's not about you, it's about the people around you. It's about your community and working together.
As far as I'm concerned, what we do when we produce a show is what any teacher wants their students to be able to do, to sort of take something by the reins and run with it. And I really think that Slinger was a special place to see all of that in action.
Many of the community functions included the band, and I felt that the community is a big supporter of the band as well.
During vocal jazz in the winter, during Christmas time, we'd go to the Christmas tree lighting, and we'd go to nursing homes, and I think that was one of my favorite parts of choir, especially because it was just so cool to go out and sing to the community and feel like you were making a difference.
Music can have an impact on the community, and it allowed me to interact with people not my age, people in Samba who are helping out the band. It helped me to appreciate the supporters in the community in things like the chicken dinner or prepping to go to Hawaii. And it really taught me to understand that it's important to realize your community is behind you and how great Slinger is as a community.
So I feel like when you use community within reason, as long as you find people to who help boost what you're doing and really believe in what you're doing, I honestly don't think there's any way we would be where we are if we just try to do it by ourselves.
My absolute favorite memory in band was doing the musical called Once on This Island. It was a very percussion-dominated production, and it was just great at the end of the week when we finally finished our third show of the weekend to really gather with the whole community in the theater.
When I was a freshman, I was in Oklahoma, and I was nervous because everybody else was were seniors. And I fell on stage during a solo dance number in a dream sequence. And I was wearing these boots, and I slid and slipped on stage and fell. And my counterpart on stage so beautifully and so gracefully taught me one of the most important things about live theater is that if there's a mistake, which happened, that you can handle it in character and move on.
Choir kids were touring the nursing homes in the area and singing solos and ensemble songs. And I was singing my musical theater piece about a woman singing to her dead husband. A resident came up to me with tears in her eyes and started talking about her husband and how it reminded her of him. It was just one of those moments where I realized how music can truly impact other people in the community, and it really stuck with me over the years.
We had the opportunity to travel to Hawaii to play for the anniversary of Pearl Harbor. And it was just an incredible experience to be able to be in that sort of environment with that group of people. It was just very humbling and a memorable time to be there. It was so cool.
Every fall, I always looked forward to every single football game and every single performance we had at the football games because it was the most fun for me. Those games were probably the best part of marching band. It was so fun to play all the different songs, and we always got to pull out the oldies and the goodies.
One of the greatest feelings I had through all of the Slinger was during the basketball games, during the football games, wearing my band stuff and being able to conduct the pep band. People would come up to me and say like, "Man, Evan, that band was bumping," and they're just like, they just say it gets me so hyped up to just like to hear the band just like echoing throughout the auditorium, across the football field.
Favorite memory of the choir room or the choir program was absolutely the various trips that we went on. Like, for example, we went to the performance space in Milwaukee and we got to sing Vivaldi's Gloria with the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra. Super cool. So fun. We got to do so much rehearsing. It was just a great time.
Band really showed me how to set short-term goals in preparation for a long-term goal, like when we were preparing to go to Hawaii or when we were preparing to play our drumline feature at halftime for homecoming. Those are things that take a really long time to prepare, and so having short-term goals that lead up to a large goal is something that I have used throughout my life.
Extracurriculars have always been super important, and I'm gonna have that be one of my main main things I talk about when I talk to kids as a school psychologist is get involved in extracurriculars, and music is so welcoming towards everyone.
Choir and music has always been a huge part of my life, but especially now that I'm in college, I have quite a bit of stress with my classes and assignments being an engineering student, and so it's definitely been an outlet for me and a way to just relieve that stress and to just get myself in a better mindset, whether that's singing or listening to music or just playing the ukulele.
A huge part of music, back to band, choir too, musical even, is practicing something over and over again until you're the best that you can be, and that applies so universally. Just keep working at something until it's where you want it to be.
Music can be used as a tool to help build, maintain, and perpetuate culture and community. And it's so incredibly important for the process of developing personal character and confidence. And honestly, that can translate to really any career you're interested in pursuing.
Now I have a BFA in acting. I live in New York City. I'm pursuing acting, waiting for my shot.
I learned how to audition at Slinger, and that was huge for the rest of my life, really.
What's most special is how many students that I worked with as my actors and my production people and the musicians that have gone on to continue to pursue those avenues in their lives, either professionally or casually, because I think there's a real value to both of those.
And even though I don't play my instrument often every day, I'm not in a band, I don't teach music for a living, but these sorts of skills have proven to be important, and I can't thank band enough for those.
And just thinking it just took someone's push, hey, why don't you try this? And now it's a huge part of my personal identity to this day. And it was in college because I continued to sing in college. And so it's just weird to think about how that wasn't once part of my identity and now to this day, music. And that's what the beauty with music is, music never really leaves you.
Honestly, this is the only thing I'll say, and I wish someone would have said it to me. Literally, like, you guys can do like anything you want. Like, it's crazy. Like, I've literally seen people just like, I feel like I just see people chase it. Like, there's nothing you can't do. Like, it's just crazy. You just got to do it.